All right, can everyone see my screen? Scene one. Sandra, can you see my
Yes,
screen?
that's good.
All right, perfect. Okay, so very first thing I want to address is why are we here, right? We're here because we noticed that many of you, many of our providers completed their ARPA round one application, and some of you had issues with the application simply because when you created the application, you uh, originally said you were going to spend 25% towards workforce investment. However, when you reported everything, it was spent with less than the 25% that was required. So because you said yes, you were given an additional 10%. Okay, and in order for you to stay compliant with everything, you need to make sure you spent 25% towards workforce investment. Now, there's questions. What is workforce investment? What does that mean? Workforce investment is any amount, anything that you spend towards your staff as bonus, health insurance, and also it's something that you were not doing before, right? It's not bonus that you gave out last year. It's not bonus that you gave out prior to your staff, prior to you receiving the amount of money that we've given to you. So it's very, very important that you understand. So, and what's also counted is raises. So if you've given raises, you are paying $13 and you are now paying 15. That's also a part of the workforce investment. And you cannot, of course, do the entire 15 because you've only added $2 to the 13 you were giving out. So I just want to make sure there's no confusion around that at all. So if you just simply pay, or you just pay rent, mortgage, lease, that doesn't count. It has to be something that you've done for the staff, and it needs to be 25% towards the entire grant amount. Okay, so that's the very first thing. Just wanted to get that out of the way. I have my colleagues on who may chime in if they like to. If you want to chime in, go ahead. I don't have Howard on today. You all are used to having seeing Howard on the call. He has something else going, so he's not on the call. But I do have other backups. So if you all want to add anything, go ahead and do so. Like, I think I did good. All right. So the second thing on here, Christine. Christine, would you like to add anything?
I would like to add that Hubert is doing an excellent job, and I agree with everything he says.
All right, thank you, Christine. All right, so the next thing is you all are familiar with the portal. Okay, so what you're looking at here is a screenshot of a portal. Okay, and with that portal, you all know exactly where to get everything you want to get, right? The very first thing in the middle, you should have your provider information. Okay, and then the next thing on the left side, common task. There's this 1, 2, 3, and 4 links that we're going to be talking about. Okay, the first link is the initial application that you submitted. Okay, so that's the first time we give out this ARPA grant. You submitted your application and we approved it. And when we approved it, we paid you for round one. We're not going to talk about round two today. So for round one, we approved it and paid you in 3 installments. Okay, so we approved the initial application and pay you 1/3 of the installments. Okay. But in order for us to pay you the second amount, we had you fill out the installment 2 application, which is here. So this is the installment 2 application where we needed to tell us how you spent round one, right? The first amount of money that we've given you. And some of you did let us know that you spent the entire amount, and some of you did not. And then we gave you a 3rd installment. And you also had to do, and I'll show you the application. I just want to explain the process first, and then we'll go through the application. The 3rd time, right, we gave you, after we gave you installment 2, we also gave you installment 3. And then we gave you this survey, this expenditure survey for you to let us know how you spent installment 3. And anything else that you say you did not spend, okay? So that's how you would report that for for the final expenditure, round one expenditure survey. Okay, so just another thing, again, today I want to speak very slowly today to make sure that you all are clear and everybody understands everything that I'm going to be talking about. Okay, so the next thing here is that for the application, when you click, some of you may not know if you did spend the entire 25%. Okay, if you don't know if you did or not, and I'm going to show you how to figure out if you spent the entire amount. And then we'll do it together. And hopefully you are in front of a computer and you can follow along with me. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to look at installment 2. Okay, we want to look at installment 2 and see how much we said we spent toward workforce investment. So I'm just going to move this screen over here. All right, so I scroll down to section 2 because I want to make sure that this information that I'm sharing is not showing too much. Okay, so here is, if I scroll down to installment 2, okay, installment 2 for the application, and I can scroll to all the way to the bottom, okay, to see exactly how much money, right, that I received, right. I received for this example $16,200. That's the amount that I received. Okay, and right now it's showing that I have a remaining balance of 0, which is great. All right, and I'm just going to get my fancy dandy calculator here. And what I'm going to do is say that, okay, because I received $16,200 and I said yes to workforce investment, okay, I need to spend 25% of that amount towards workforce investment. So I'm going to get my fancy dandy calculator. I'm going to type 16,200. Okay, I'm going to time it by 0.25. Now it's going to give me $4,050. That means I need to say that I spent at least $4,050 towards bonuses, towards health insurance, or anything else that you were not doing before for your staff. Or if you are the only person at the center and you are the owner, director, teacher, everything, that amount needs to be spent towards you. So $4,050 has to be spent towards workforce investment. Now, how do I know if I spent $4,050 towards workforce investment? Then I need to figure out, I can look at installment 2, which is this one, and then get the amount that says workforce investment, okay? On the right, $995. So what I can do here is, I can say, okay, this time I'm going to take, remember it's $4,050, okay? So I'm going to take the $995, okay? And put that to the side. You can either write it down, put it on your calculator, or however way you decide to do it, okay? And then I'm like, okay, I'm good, that's good. And every other category is okay because we don't know, we didn't ask you for any information prior. So as long as you keep track of how you spent this money, then that's fine. Now we're going to look at installment on 3. So we'll scroll down and do the same exact thing, right? And this time around, we spent about $913. So we'll take the $995 plus the $913. All right. And we are at $1,908. So we're still short, but there is one more survey that you could have done, okay? That would get us there, all right? And if I scroll here, right? And this one is the third one, all right? And you go open up this guy. This is the ARPA round 1 expenditure survey, okay? So that's how I was able to get to this link, all right? So when you click, it's going to be a little bit confusing, and it's okay because many of you click on it and assume that you're going to do it one time, and then you click on it again, and then you see all these red boxes. That's okay. That's designed to happen. It's again, okay for it to have that. That's not how we would want to build it, but that's how DEO created it. So we're going to work with it that way. So now that we've clicked here, the first thing to do is not to start filling this out, okay? Because you may have done it already. So what you want to do is click on View Submitted, okay? Once I click on View Submitted, I can see that have submitted an application already. Okay, and some of you may have one line, some of you may have two lines, some of you may have three lines, depends on how many times you submitted this. So I'm going to click close, and I'm not going to, again, enter anything here. So everyone's on the same page, right? It says view submitted. That's what I'm going to click on. Okay, once I click on that, all right, so what is going to happen is that if I click on this guy here, okay, it is going to take me to what I spent, what the amount that I said I spent. Okay, so I'm going to scroll here and show you guys what happened when I click on this link. All right, when I click, it showed me that that last time I sent $2,140. So we'll get our fancy dandy calculator. Okay, and then we're going to say plus 2140. Okay, so with that being said, okay, I have an amount that is, if I remember our amount here, right? If you guys, my team can let me know, right? What was the amount? It was 40, right? Am I saying this accurately, guys? Let's do the math again. We're going to do 16,200 times that by 0.25. All right.
Yes,
So,
your math. Go ahead. It's 40.50.
Yes. So we're short $2. Okay. So we're short $2, and so now we need to fix $2. But anyway, I at the other school I was working on, I had a higher. But anyway, we'll fix that. Okay. So what happened now? What happened? How do you fix this $2 that you're short by? Whether you're short by $1,000, by $3,000, $50,000. This is the same concept, okay? It's the same concept on how to fix it. So we're short $2, and we need to now allocate two additional dollars towards workforce investment. And how do we do this? Okay, to do that, we want to go back to our main page here, okay? And then we want to click on ARPA round 1 expenditure survey. Okay, now we know we need to say, how did we spend this additional $2? Okay, so now once we click on that link, it's going to take us to this page right here again. Okay, and then we want to scroll down. So what we want to do now is we want to now remove some of the amount that's we already spent. Okay, so we know we're short $2 here, so we can go here and add $2. Okay, now just by adding these $2, we're in compliant, okay? But now the system will allow you to, now if you scroll down, it shows that you now have a negative balance. We don't want negative balance. We want to add to 0. So now you need to go back up and say, you know what? I want to take this, where do I want to grab this $2, okay? I want to grab it from personnel benefits because that's where I made a mistake and I did this wrong and I want to fix it, okay? So now I'm going to click on the negative, and I'm going to do negative $2. Okay, sorry here, this non-lock is not on. All right, so now if I scroll down, I'm balanced back to 0. And now I can go back and add a 0 amount for everything else because I'm not making any changes there. Now, very important, we want to make sure that whatever you do here, it's exactly what happened. We do not want, if Howard were here, that if Howard was here, this is what he would say. We don't want you to go in there and just, go ahead and type anything because you need to back up whatever it is that you type in here. So if we know some of you did spend bonuses and added under personnel benefits, and it's okay, if that's the mistake that you've made, you will now need to correct it and type a negative amount for personnel benefits, and then type your positive amount towards workforce investment. Or if the mistake was made towards something else, right? Maybe rent, mortgage, or whatever it is, you would negate that amount and then add your positive amount towards workforce investment. So that is the best way to fix it. That is the way to fix it. And hopefully many of you were able to go through the process with me and was able to fix it. And I will take a pause here and let Christine add if she would like to add anything.
Yeah, so I just to build on that point about not just putting in any number, if you need a guidepost or a benchmark to use about whether or not to make a change, the most important benchmark that you can use is make sure that everything that you enter is true. So did it happen? Is it true? Can you document it? That is the goal here. And we're not trying to micromanage your business, but it's just really important that, it's federal dollars, taxpayer dollars, and we are held accountable to this, that everything that you put on the application and what you put on the expenditure survey has to be true. So that's the way to ask yourself whether or not you're doing it correctly.
You? Okay, so the other scenario before I jump into questions. So some of you did this multiple times, and because you opened it and like most of us thinking that we see red, we want to fix it. But then you had already submitted an application and you submitted more than one application. Okay. And if you did submit more than one application, what's going to happen is I'm just going to remove these amounts that I just added. And we'll make that one 0. And actually, no, sorry, we'll make this one 0. And we'll add about $10,000. Sorry, cut clock keep going off. We'll add $10,000 here. If you did add too much, right? If you open your application and notice that you added too much, you are seeing a negative amount with amount remaining. That means that you told us too much. I mean, you said too much, so you need to open the application, and then instead of it showing you 10,000, right? We want to go here and then type a negative amount, right? Once you type that negative amount, it would fix that negative that balance that you had over, and everything will be correct. That's only if you went over the amount. And I do have Sandra on. I'm going to take a pause here. Sandra does have providers that she knows that we're over. So if you do, Sandra, can you just put the ID in the chat, and then we'll try to show them exactly what that looks like. Okay. And I will take a pause here and jump, unless my team wants to add anything, but we'll take a pause here and jump straight into questions. Anyone? Well, I guess let me ask, does anyone want to add anything at the moment? Christine, Sandra, and Sel.
I have nothing to add.
Okay, so let's, Christine, Sandra, looks like you went unmuted.
I have nothing to add.
Okay, all right, good. So let's go to questions. All right, so we have the first question is from Anonymous. It's okay. I watched the video. I watched the recorded webinar from last week as well. I inadvertently put workforce expense on the payroll. I put a negative in the payroll area and added the workforce investment. If my total is 0 and show all money was spent, will there be any further corrections to be made? No. If you sounds like a perfect scenario here, you added on the payroll, you made a mistake, and you're allowed to, right? We're allowed to make mistakes, and you go back and you fix it the way that you said you did. You put a negative amount, right? And then once you add the negative amount, you were able to zero everything out, then you are good to go. Okay, so let me make you, sorry, Sandra, I'm going to make you a panelist so you can see the questions. And promote panelists, and same thing for Excel. We'll promote you to a panelist as well. Now you should be able to see the questions. Okay, so yes, so we did answer that live. How do I know if my survey was done incorrectly? Okay, so I believe I mentioned that. So you want to look at what you submitted for installment 2 and installment 3. And again, the only thing we can tell you is wrong is workforce investment, because we know 25% is what you're supposed to be spending towards workforce investment. And of course, I didn't say this in the beginning, but I'm going to say it now. If you did not spend the 25%, we have to now get back 10% from you. And we do not want to do that, right? We don't want to do that. The last thing we want to do, if you spent it correctly. But if you did not, it's okay. You know, we can return it. We understand. And we'll you work with our finance team or you work with, well, your Sandra's team, and they will make a accommodation to get that back from you. But the goal is to make sure that if you did it correctly, right, if you spent the money towards workforce investment, it needs to be coded correctly. So just go ahead and calculate your installment 2 amount plus your installment 3 amount plus your expenditure amount. If that equals to 25% or more, you're good. If it's 25%, if it's 24,999, then it's not. You need to correct it and make sure it's 25%. Will temp agent workers count? Also realize I did not complete it correctly, so I need to do 2 submissions. Is that okay? You can do as many submissions as you like to correct the issue. It's just that it has to be for you to correct it, and you want to make sure you balance out to 0. Will temp agency workers, they were working for you. If they were working for you, you've given them a bonus, that will count as well. So as long as the person was working for you and you've given them bonus, you've done something that you were not doing before, then you're good to go.
Hubert, can I say something about the deadline?
Yes.
So the deadline is December 31st officially, but remember that you need to have this approved. It has to be done correctly. And so if you are, and we are closed on the going up to the end of those days. And so the closer you get to the deadline, the greater the risk that you might not have corrected it in a way that we can approve it. So very important, don't hesitate, don't delay, do this as early as you can and as quickly as you can, so that if there's feedback, if there's changes, if we have to go back and forth, we have time to do that. Waiting is not a thing that you should do. Work as quickly as you can on this, and try to pull the information together as soon as possible, so that if we need to make changes, we have time to do that.
I don't know just about anything, but told me that. All right, so another one. All right, so next one, Sandra. What's the person? Sandra, you saw that one, right? So the person they booked Sandra and fixed their round 1, and they're waiting to get their round 2 fixed. So Sandra, go ahead. I'm sure you'll address that. All right, under which column is payroll listed? Payroll is personnel, so that would be your personnel benefit. Whatever you said for personnel would be payroll. Can we include CQI bonuses? No, CQI bonus is not round 1 bonus. CQI is completely different. So it's whatever that lump sum that you received towards round 1 is what you need to calculate. Holiday payments can be added to workforce investment. Well, the payment had to have made, remember the deadline already passed, right? So you should have given those bonuses prior. So you can't do anything at the moment. Right now, if you give out bonuses, it's great, but you were supposed to do everything prior. Sandra, go ahead. I'm sorry, not Sandra, Christine.
Yeah, so maybe they're talking about paying for holidays that they might not otherwise have had holiday pay.
Oh,
if
okay.
that's the case, but it's only if it's above and beyond, correct?
Yes, that is correct. Thank you, Christine. Yes, I'm sorry, I may have misunderstood your question. If you, let's say, you were not normally off on 4th of July, I'm just throwing that day out. And you was open for 4th of July because you're not normally off. Yeah, that would count because you were able to pay that because of workforce, because of the fact that you received that additional money. But I understood it as if you were doing holiday maybe bonus, but I'm sorry if I misunderstood your question. Let's see, CQI, we answered that one. Okay, I'm confused on payroll. If for example, $2 per hour was added, how can payroll be used? If you were paying $15 and you are now paying $17 after you receive round 1 money, so I mean $2 additional you're paying because you received the additional money, right? So you would take the $2, you time it by the amount of hours the person worked, and then you'll get a total. So that should help you come up with the number that you're looking for. And then you can go back to the day that you received the grant not that workforce investment is one you cannot go back to last year or 2 years ago. It has to be when you receive the money, that's when you actually were able to do whatever it is that you decided to do. So yes, payroll can be included if you did give out raises and you would calculate the amount of hours. So that would be a lot of hours for you guys. So you calculate the hours times the $2 that you've given out. So that would be workforce investment. Yeah, so person who missed the beginning, so workforce investment is bonuses that you've given out to staff or anything additional that you started doing because you were not able to do it prior to the day that you received the money. And I know Incel did a great job last time adding the link where you guys can see the guidance, but you guys have entire Q&A guidance on exactly what's included for workforce investment as far as like what DL was able to provide. So if my survey shows 0 remaining, but on my survey I don't have workforce, so do I put a negative? So if you don't, if in your survey, if you did not, I'm assuming iPhone 2, Renee, I'm assuming that you, if you said no to the question, workforce investment, okay? If you say no to that question, then you do not need to pay anything towards workforce investment because you said no. However, if you say yes, right, and to know if you said no, and you can click on the actual application. If you click on the actual application and click on ARPA round 1 and scroll all the way to section, I'll tell you what section it is.
Hubert, you're not sharing your screen.
Okay, give me 1 second. I will share in 2 seconds here. Okay, section 6. So we'll share my screen again. And we'll go to section 6. Okay, so section 6. So section 6 would be here. So scroll down from your initial application. So, and to get to initial application, you want to go here and click this one here, this guy, the first one that says ARPA round 1 application. And once you click on it, it will take you to this page. You will scroll all the way to section 6, and then that question towards workforce investment is here. And then there's some examples here. Bonuses, wage increase, right, which we talked about, healthcare, the retirement, educational advancement, tuition reimbursement, and that's from receipt of fund through September 30th. That's why I said you cannot go any other time. It's apart from September 30th, and then it starts from the day that you receive the grant.
Right. So if you already selected no on this application, when you filled it out, that means you did not get the extra 10%. And so there's no correction required. Is that true?
Correct. Yeah. If you said no, then you put 0. And then as long as you balance out to 0, now just show whatever proof you have towards however way you spent the money. All right. So all right, does the amount have to be exactly 25%? No, it does not have to be exactly 25%. It could be 30, 40, it could be 100% of it if that's what you wanted to do. It was designed for us to help the workforce. It's designed for you to help you do what you need to do at your center to get you going, to fix your playground if you had issues with it. However way that you decided, based on the rules that you decided to use the money, it was okay. But the requirement was that 25% needed to go towards the bonuses, wages, healthcare, retirement, educational, tuition, investment, and so on. Trying to figure out what I did wrong. If you need help and you don't know what you did wrong and you still lost and cannot figure it out, you can send us an email at arpfunds@elcbroward.org, and someone from the ELC will reach out to you and try to assist you as soon as possible. Again, you are able to look at your application and see if it's done correctly, right? Look at what you sent for installment 2, look at what you sent for installment 3, and then also what you spent for the expenditure. Add it all together, it should give you 25% or more. If it's not, then you need to If it's zero, you need to completely add whatever that total is, that's 25% of the amount that you received. Or if it's missing, I don't know, $1,000, you need to go ahead and fix that. Okay. All right, guys, I know my team is sending stuff from the back end, but go ahead and whatever you need to do, you all are panelists, so you should be able to add what you need to add. All right, so next question on here. My amount say, no, who can I email? I think I've said already, arpfunds@elcbroward.org. And then we have, my amount says 0 on the bottom, but now I feel confused, did something wrong. Again, to know if you did it correctly, you need to look at your installment 2 and installment 3 application. Add that amount together with the expenditure survey, and that should give you 25% or more. If it is 25% or more and your balance is 0, you're done. If it's not 25% or more, you need to find out what the difference is and go ahead and report on the difference. Okay, so someone wants me to go back. Okay, so once you open the expenditure, okay, so this is submitted already. Okay, let me find the expenditure for you. Hopefully I already answered this person, but I'm going to find it. So the first thing you want to do is click round 1 expenditure survey. Okay, once you click round 1 expenditure survey, it is going to open the application. And when you open the application, right, expenditure survey, it's going to take you to this page. And I am going to show you in 1 second. This page here will open, okay? And you will have these red boxes. And it's okay to have the red boxes because you want to actually look at view, okay? This is where you would see if you've submitted something already. And then you can click here to view it. If you have not submitted anything, then you would fill out the survey here. No, regular pay is not included. New employees not included. It has to be something new, something different that you're doing for your employees already. Any amount that you pay, yeah, that can be included under personnel. Okay, so I was not able to see the survey. So if you are having issues with the survey, then send us an email at arpfunds@elcbroward.org. Then we will try to help you if you receive an error message. The time frame is the day that you receive the funds. So let's say if you were approved back in January, so you can only go from January to September 30th, 2023. So I mean January 2020, whatever. I'm sorry, 2023. Whenever you receive that money, whatever day it was, you can start from that day all the way to September 30th, 2023. That's the time frame. So emails, I don't know who that is, but if you send an email today, which I've gotten a couple of emails right before the call, I did not answer those, but if you sent it prior, then we should have already answered your email. And some of you, if you call, you should have spoken to someone and so on. But if you did send an email and we haven't gotten to you yet, please send me an email send us an email at arpfunds@elcbroward.org. If you did send an email already, someone will get to you. Again, it's 400 plus 700 providers, so we do get those emails and we try to respond as quickly as we can. If we have employees, we will still need to check yes. Remember, you've already answered that question already. So if you have to look at what did you answer on the application, right? If you said yes, then yes. If you are the sole person, the only person that work at the center, you have to give yourself, I guess, a bonus or raise or however way you want to decide to do it. Or get healthcare coverage for yourself, retirement, whatever it is that you were not doing before. If you send emails to ARPfunds@elcbroward.org, there's people that's there to answer it, so they will answer it as soon as possible. No, curriculum reimbursement is not for curriculum reimbursement. This is for ARPA round 1 payment that you receive. The expenditure survey is a standalone application. So whatever is on the expenditure survey is what you reported. The round installment 2 and 3 are also standalone application, which is why I mentioned that you need to go look at installment 2, add it to installment 3, and look at what you've reported for the survey, the expenditure, and then if that equals 25% or more, then you're good. To update the application, you just need to open up the new expenditure application and go ahead and type the amount that you need to type in here. So if your amount is $2,000, you would type 2,000 for, let's say, you want to, let's give you an example here. This would be 2,000 here, right? And you would put a negative 2,000 amount because you want to minus that from personnel. So you would do negative 2,000. And now once you do that, it's going to tell you that you owe us, you have $2,000 remaining. And then you would navigate over to workforce investment and add a positive amount. Go ahead, Christine.
So I was just going to say that assumes that you said yes on workforce
Yes.
investment on your original application. If you didn't say yes on your original application, it cannot be added now. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you would have had to have said yes on the original application. And then if you checked yes, then you need to correct this. If you did not check that, then you can't add it now.
All right, thank you, Chris, for adding the email address. I'll go back and correct round 1 and 2 for workforce. Yeah, I think that's what you just answered, right, Christine? Person say, okay, there's a scenario here. One of the surveys, I enter less than, let's say, 10,000 for rent. And after I spent another 10,000, do I enter this last survey 20,000 or just the last 10,000 I have not reported? It's just the last 10,000 you have reported. If you've already reported the amount already, then you're good to go. Where do I find the date of the approval? Sandra, are you able to, if you can look that up and then let me know where they can find the date of the approval. I think it's somewhere on the portal that they could see that. When I click the previous submitted button, it shows the workforce over 25% mark, but the expenditure survey shows blank. Keith, are you opening? If you open the expenditure survey, remember, once you open the expenditure survey, okay, I'm going to scroll back up really quickly. All right, so this would not show anything. So to see your expenditure survey, you have to click view, and then view this survey. Okay, that's where you'll see the amount that you actually added. If that's 0, then when you add installment 2 and 3, that's what should equal to the 25%, right? Okay, looks like we've gotten through all of the questions. And let's see, any more questions? Okay, looks like there's no more questions.
Dr. Huber, one just came through.
One just came in, okay.
To make a correction, I must go under the ARPA Fund 1 survey. Is that correct?
No, to make a correction, you have to click on the expenditure. Okay, let me go back once. Let me say it one more time. Okay, I'll say it one more time for you guys. So the first thing you want to make sure is that you want to make sure that you said yes to the workforce investment, which most of you did. There's only a few providers that did not. Okay, if you did say yes, whatever the total amount that you received. Okay, so and then if I were to go back and let's share my screen again. Oh, is my screen still being shared?
No, it's not.
No? All right, let me share my screen again. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is click on installment 2 to see how much you spent, installment 3, and the expenditure survey. Those are the steps you should follow. And when you click on installment 2, I'm going to scroll down. You're going to go to section 3. Section 3 is going to tell you how did you spend this money? And the first thing you want to look at is the workforce investment, which is this line here that shows 995. So you want to make sure you put that amount somewhere or use your calculator. And I'll use this one for example. So let's clean this out really quick. So I'm just going to get 995. Okay. And then I'm going to now go back and then open installment 3, which I already have a screenshot of already. So installment 3 is 9. So I'm going to get the 995 plus the 913, okay, which is here again, right? And then I can scroll to the bottom here. When you get here, this is when you want to click on view submitted survey, okay? Once you click on view submitted survey, it's going to take you to, it's going to take you to the actual application, okay? Once you get to the actual application, this is where you want to also write that number down. And for this one, again, I'm just going to click on my other screen and then I'll bring it back so you can see exactly what it says. When I click here and I click on view submitted, it takes me to this screen that is here, okay? And the amount that I'm seeing is $2,140. So I will take that plus $2,140. Okay, now I'm at $4,048. Okay, so that's how I was able to calculate to see how much money that I've spent towards workforce investment so far. If that amount that you see here does not add up to 25% or more, then you need to, if it does amount to 25% or more, you're good to go. If it does not, you need to fix the difference. If you all remember, my difference was $2, and that's why when I fixed it, I show you guys how I fixed the $2. And to fix the $2 amount is you would have to negate the $2 from personnel if that is where you want to put a negative amount, and then add the positive amount towards workforce investment. So I hope that was clear.
Hubert, if the provider wants to see exactly what date that their ARPA round 1 was approved, it's in their portal. You go to status, it says approved, and it has a little line item at the bottom.
Okay, can you tell them exactly where to go, what to click on?
I put it in the chat, in the Hub's
Okay.
chat.
Perfect.
Since you're sharing.
I don't see anything in the chat, but
No, in ARPS.com, I can't post in the chat.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm going to post that in the chat here.
Okay.
It's sorry everyone, well, you should be able to post that. You're a panelist, Sandra. Can you do that?
Let me check and see.
Yeah, because I would have to download it and try to get it. So I think you just asked the question. Okay, Keith. So the expenditure survey, right, is a completely different survey. It's different from installment 1 and installment 2. Okay. And I'm sorry, installment 3 and installment 2. So the expenditure survey is standalone. It's a third application that you send in to let us know how you spent the money that you received for installment 3. Alright, so looks like, I don't see any, okay, a couple more questions. I do amend the application if we enter the workforce line.
The ARPA hubs. For some reason, it's not coming up, it's coming with weird numbers. I try to post.
Right. So if you are still having issues, I think the best thing to do is to, and I know some of you already submitted an email. If you already submitted an email, someone will get to you. If you have not already, please send an email to arpfunds@elcbroward.org, and somebody will reach out to you and will help you complete the application. Okay. And if you, again, same thing, if you did not spend the 25% or less, you need to tell us. If you say if you didn't spend it, but if you did not spend it and you don't need to make any correction, it's okay. We're just going to take back 10% from whatever we've given you. Okay. And but then if you
Can I
did
just interrupt you for 1 second here? And please,
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
to please know, we would rather take back a few dollars from you if you didn't spend it that way, than have to report anyone for suspected fraud if there's no backup to show how you spent your dollars. Again, the application, you've submitted an application for federal dollars, saying you would spend in a certain way. You didn't need to adhere penny to penny from each line item, but you do actually need to have your backup if auditors come a-calling to see how you spent your entire grant amount. Please understand that.
Yeah. Okay, and again, if you're still not understanding or you still need help or you are confused, please send an email to arpfunds@elcbroward.org. Someone will get to you, either myself will get to you or somebody else from the team will get to you so we can help you and make sure that you do this correctly, okay? And if you email me directly, please try not to email me directly. I get a bunch of emails every day. So that's why we keep telling you to email arpfunds@elcbroward.org, because there's people that's monitoring that's assigned to it. Whereas if you email me directly, then you may, get lost in the process. But of course I'll get to it, but it's better to do our funds because that's the folks out there doing that. Like at the moment right now, I'm not looking at email. I'm talking to you all. So it's better to send to arpfunds@elcbroward.org so somebody can get to you as soon as possible to try to assist you. Go ahead, Ansel.
Someone asked in the chat, where can the video be found? So last week video that we recorded on December 6th, we have that currently now posted to our YouTube channel. Please visit our YouTube channel. It should be the most recent video under videos that says American Rescue Plan Round 1 Expenditure Survey webinar with the day's date on it. So you have that information. Again, usually it's the first 15 to 20 minutes of the presentation. Hubert went over the overview about how to submit it, and the remaining portion of the video was about answering various different questions. So for those who have questions about that, they can do that. We will look to see if we can try and have this video. Well, we're going to see if it makes sense to post this particular video with these questions on it later on this week, but at least want to let you know where the other video was with the presentation in case you miss it. And it was on the e-blast that was sent out that reminded you about today's meeting. Is that the link to the YouTube video is on that e-blast as well.
Okay, thank you. And if you are good and you don't need any more assistance, someone has their hand up, so we'll answer that question. But if you still need help, again, arpfunds@elcbroward.org. If you're still not clear, we can try to answer a few more questions here. All right, let's get this person here. All right, you have any questions?
Jerry, you got your hand up. We called on you.
Nothing from Jerry. Fran?
Hi. Okay, so I just want to clarify that I'm on the right page here. I'm going to look at installment 2 and installment 3 and the expenditure survey to get the total amount that I allocated for the workforce.
Step one, got it.
Okay. Once I add all of those three numbers together, that is going to tell me whether or not I overspent or I underspent. And that is then where I go to the main page again, click on the ARPA expenditure survey and make the corrections that you walked us through.
You just summarized it exactly how we wanted to do it in like 20 seconds. So yes, that's exactly what you need to do. That would,
Okay.
and if you are underspent, right, you need to know what is the amount you underspent by, right? If it's $2,000, you would negate the $2,000 from the personnel bucket, which is where most of you made that mistake. Whereas if you over, it's okay, that's fine. If you didn't spend anything at all, then you need to make sure you negate the entire amount that you didn't spend to make sure you add it to get it to match. So you summarize it well. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Jerry, are you still on? Or Jirai? I don't know, Jirai.
I think Jerry's just exercising her hand.
All right, so it looks 60 people. All right, so if your answers if we answered your questions, you go ahead, you can go ahead and get off and sign off. If you still have questions, again, arpfunds@elcbroward.org, someone will address your questions. I think that concludes our session. Thank you all for joining us. Hopefully you all are good to go and able to submit your application. Again, thank you. Have a good rest of your day. Oh, there's one more.
Hubert, before you go, there's a question here from Zena Reynolds. Do I add round?
I don't see it, but
three?
I don't see that question. Where is it?
It's in the Q&A.
The last one I see is from Tracy. So
Time of the entry was 1:53 is when they entered the question.
yeah,
Says,
I guess it's not updated. Oh, there it is, not updated. Okay. There it is. There's two. Okay, got it. Do I add up 2 and 3 and then subtract the 25%? I'm not sure what.
They're asking about round 2 and round 3. I don't know if they mean, sir.
Yeah, I'm not sure. If you want to clarify, Reynolds, go ahead and raise your hand. You can clarify, and we'll try to help you. But Roslyn, go ahead.
I just wanted to know if this recording would be posted on the YouTube channel as well.
Yes, it will be on our YouTube channel as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. And Reynolds, if you still have questions, just if you still want to add up to what you asked, go ahead and okay, there we go. Zania, I think I'm saying it right. Please correct me if I said it wrong.
Yes, it's Zanaya.
Zanaya, I'm sorry. Zanaya Reynolds. All right, go ahead.
Yes, my question is, do I add up round 1, the amount for round 1 and round 2, and subtract the 25% for the workforce investment once I have gone through all of my totals that I have given my employees? And
so round 1 and round 2 are to be treated differently. So round 1 is the first time we gave you the money, we gave it to you in 3 installments. So that one, that has to have its own 25%. The round 2, which we didn't talk about at all today, right? Sandra has the ability to return that application to you. That's why we don't talk about it. Round 1, we cannot return it. So even though you submitted it, it doesn't say if you did it, if it's approved, there's no button for that. So that's why we want to make sure we talk to you to get you to understand how to complete it and how to fill it out. But round 1 should be separate. So if you receive $10,000 for round 1, you need to do 25% towards $10,000. Receive $20,000 for round 2, needs to do your 25% towards $20,000. So you report it in those two different places, right? Because you have your round 2 expenditure and you have your round 1 expenditure.
okay. Oh, okay, just round 1 and 2. Okay.
Yeah, so this is just all about round 1. So whatever amount you received round one, you need to make sure if you did say yes to the question workforce investment, that you allocate the right amount towards workforce investment.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
Okay.